coding part of IoT Health Monitoring System project. The first part, I define the BLYNK data, which are template ID, device name, or token. Then you can get it from the BLYNK application. And I also teach you how to create the BLYNK application in the next step. The second part, we include all of the libraries that we use in this project. For example, the library of the BLYNK that we can use the BLYNK application, the Wi-Fi libraries so we can connect with the Wi-Fi. We include the BLYNK symbol ESP32 because we need to connect the BLYNK with the ESP32. This is the libraries of the temperature sensors that we use in this project. For the three of these, we include the library of the OLED display. Like for example, the first line, we include core graphic library for display. The second, this is the library to drive the display. And the last one, this is the library of the font that we can custom on the display. Next, this is the library of the line notifying. As you can see, it can send the data from ESP32 to the line application. So this is why we need to use this library too. And the last one, this is the libraries of the heart rate sensors. Next, we define all of the data that we use in this project. For example, we define the buzzer and the pin number 4 for ESP32. Next, we define the line token. The line token is like the address of the receiver. Like we send the data from ESP32 to the receiver with the line application. So this is why we need the line token. And I also will teach you about how to get the line token in the next few steps. And we define the LED at the pin number 2 of the ESP32. We define the max brightness at 255. And the last one, we define the max 30105 as a particle of the sensors. Next, we input the data of the BLYNK or token, my Wi-Fi name, and also my Wi-Fi password that my laptop is connecting right now. Next, this is the information of the heart rate sensor. We input the variable of the beat per minute as a floating type and the beat averaging as the integer type. For this one, this is the code for the OLED display because our LED display is at the size 128 times 64. And the next, this is the coding for the temperature sensor, so it can read the temperature by using this code. And we also input the temperature as the integer. Next, this is the function of the buzzer, so the buzzer can alarm. Next, this is the BLYNK connect to connect the BLYNK application. So in the voice setup, we will show the data that we input in the serial monitor at this outlet. Next, it will print the line get version and use the Wi-Fi name and Wi-Fi password as I type it in the upper. And then it will print the Wi-Fi connecting. While it connecting, the Wi-Fi status will connect and print the dot in the serial monitor. And then if it can connect, it will print Wi-Fi connect and also print the Wi-Fi local IP and the line token. And the BLYNK application will begin to use the auth token, Wi-Fi name and Wi-Fi password that I type in the upper side. And we use the buzzer as the output, so the buzzer can alarm like the output as we setting. And this is the setting for the OLED display to initialize display with the I2C address of 0x3c. And it will clear the buffer and set the color of the text is white. And it also print in the serial monitor as a output MLX 90614 test. And then it will start the infrared thermometers or it is the temperature sensors. This is for the heart rate sensor. So if we cannot find the connecting, so the max 30105 it will show was not found. Please check the wiring or power. But if your finger not touch the sensor and sensor cannot detect, it will show that Place your index finger on the sensor with the steady pressure and running the heart rate sensors. Okay, so the last is in the while loop. So this is for the heart rate sensor. This is the equation to calculate the heart rate sensor beat per minute. And it will show the IR value. The IR value, it can measure and detect that your finger is on the sensor or not. And it will print the beat per minute of our heart rate. As I said in the previous, if IR value is less than 50,000, it will print that it's no finger touching because it can detect that it's not have finger on the sensor, and the beat per minute or the heart rate will equal to 0. Okay, so next, this is the part of the temperature sensor. Here, it will increase the value for testing. And this is the condition of the sensor. If the temp is greater than 38, the buzzer will alarm and send notification to the line application. As you can see, it will send the high temperature with the temperature that it can detect with the Celsius. And this is show the value on the serial monitor. On the serial monitor, it can show both of room temperature and body temperature. And this is a function that temperature can measure our temperature. So you can know that the temp variable will equal the temperature of the body. And here, this is the part of the BLYNK application. So it will send the data from this code to the BLYNK. As you can see in the V4 gate, it will send the temp. As I said before, this temp is the body temperature. And for the V5 gate, it will send the beat per minute or our heart rate that heart rate sensor can measure. And it will clear the display first to clear and reface. Here is the part of OLED. So it will print the text of temperature, and it have the set cursor on the 45 and 10 as X and Y. Next, it will print the temperature on the screen. We put the temp variable in here to print the temperature that we can measure on the OLED display. And here, this is the string that it can print the value. Like it can print the C as a Celsius and dot. So the last part is just the drawing of the thermometer in the OLED display, and then it will display all of this at a time. And also, BLYNK application can run, and we have the delay in the one loop as the 1000 milliseconds. This is all of the coding part.